There ain't no party like an 80s party, and at last, a week later than it was supposed to be, LEGO has revealed their 5 finalists for the 80s challenge. They had some troubles along the way, there were clearly some gremlins in the system. So with that in mind, let's take a look at our 5 finalists. The first one, of course, being Gremlins. With the 40th anniversary of the film coming up this December, now would be the perfect time to finally get this set realised into LEGO. And it's fantastic to see that it was chosen as one of the finalists. I'm slightly surprised as it wasn't one of the most popular ones during the initial phase, but I am a massive fan of this, and I'm sure lots of you are too. It would make for an incredible LEGO set. At last we can get Mogwai in LEGO. Of course you'll just have to be careful not to expose it to bright sunlight or get it wet, but aside from that, it's going to make for a fantastic set. Of course, only one of these can actually win out overall, which will earn your vote. You've got 6 days up until the 3rd of May to visit LEGO Ideas, go on to the 80s challenge and vote for your favourite. Whichever one wins out, we are going to see as an official LEGO set. Now, beyond the subject matter, which of course deserves to be a set, this one has been designed brilliantly. I've featured it in several different videos in the past. From the minifigure lineup to, of course, the build itself, it's just the perfect mix of displayability and playability with wonderful little details throughout. And whilst it is cram-packed full of those details, the set itself is a reasonable size. It's not going to be absolutely massive. This should come in at a decent price point as well. So if you do vote for it, I think that it can be done really well. And fingers crossed LEGO don't mess around with it. Sometimes they do improve ideas that they choose, sometimes they leave them as is, and a lot of times they make them worse. Well, quite frankly, I think this is one that they can just leave as is. It's been beautifully done, and if it does win out and they produce it exactly as we're seeing here, I'll be quite happy. Our second finalist is E.T. and the Fly Across the Moon diorama, although it's not the version of E.T. that was actually in the most popular selection for the first part of this challenge. I do think it's better. It's a beautiful little diorama that's been wonderfully designed. I mean, for such an iconic scene, the amount of texture and different colours that have gone into this captures it perfectly. And E.T. does deserve to have its own set at last. It should have had it back in 2022 for its 40th anniversary. To get it now, though, would be so brilliant. I'm sure that this is one that shouldn't be too expensive for them to produce. I know they've got to obviously do their deal for licensing, but whilst the likes of the Star Wars dioramas can be a little bit overpriced, they're generally not too unreasonable, and something of this size, it should frankly be the same story. And I really am confident that just so many of us would go out and buy this set. What a brilliant design it is, and a very deserving finalist. Of course, you are going to have to think hard, because if, like me, you're a fan of both E.T. and Gremlins, which do you really want to be made? Are you going to make your vote count? It's a hard decision, but it's got to be made. Finalist number 3 is Beetlejuice. Of course, that's not the full title, but I'm not going to say it 3 times, he might appear. With this iconic cult classic, well deserving of LEGO, of course we are getting the long-awaited sequel later this year. So now really is the perfect time to see this turned into LEGO. Once again, I have to commend the brilliant attention to detail that has actually gone into this set. It's been superbly done, and the way that it comes apart also seems to have been thoroughly thought out. This looks to be an absolutely splendid modular build. This is another one that I would quite happily buy. To be fair, all 5 of the finalists are, although I must admit that as much as I love Beetlejuice, this particular set, as we're seeing it here, isn't my favourite out of them. I do think that I prefer both E.T. and Gremlins to this, but of course that is just personal. Let me know in the comments which out of all of these is your favourite. All that said and done, once again, a very deserving finalist. So if you do want to see it, don't delay, get over there and start voting. Well, finish this video first, of course. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. But then go over and vote. Finalist number 4, The Karate Kid Wax On, Wax Off. I don't know how many times over the years I've watched this movie. So many times as a kid, although not recently. I must actually go and put it on. I want to watch it now that I'm looking at this lovingly recreated into LEGO. What a wonderful design. Once again, some really well thought out design throughout with great parts usage, wonderful colours, and just a really brilliant capture of something really nostalgic. The layout here again would make for brilliant display with just removing that roof for easy access to what's actually hidden within, and is quite different from other LEGO sets that we've seen before. I think this one in particular would be a really interesting build. As you're actually putting it together, you'd come across more and more fun little things that the designers popped in there. So immersive just looking through the pictures. Another one I know I would be straight out to buy on release day if it did get chosen. Just so well done. I'm really impressed. Another fantastic choice. However, my favourite is this. Finalist number 5 is The Goonies 1985, and I did actually call it out as my favourite in the run-up video that I did to this from about a week ago. It's just brilliantly done. I know quite a few people did put in the comments that this is obviously a large set. It's going to have a pretty high price tag to it. But I know, although that is going to be another high-priced Lego set, in this instance, I can forgive it because I really, really want this. My only real concern is whether it's slightly too well detailed. I think Lego might adapt this in a way that will shrink it down, maybe make it lose what it is. I don't want them to. I want it exactly as it is here. The designer has done such a brilliant job. The combination of ship on one side, all the interior details on the other. You know, I've said before, which side would you actually choose to display? That's the difficult thing. I think somebody said, yeah, put a mirror behind it. You'd have to with this because it's just been brilliantly well done. And I think out of all of them, for me, has that best combination of fantastic display, but also wonderful play piece, representing, again, such an iconic cult film. It's fantastic. From the minifigures through to the set itself. As much as I like all of them, I do think this is probably where, personally, my vote's going to be heading. It's going to be really interesting to see which one wins out. They are all ever so deserving. Gremlins, we've needed for a long time. Should have been done before, deserves to be done now. Exactly the same can be said for E.T., and this diorama, while small, captures that scene so perfectly. It does deserve to be done. Beetlejuice, whilst I'm not as big a fan of the build, still has so much going for it. And once again, the character, the concept, the film, it is something that I would really want to have put into Lego. Karate Kid, from all the lovingly thought out details in every single section, for what it represents, for what a wonderful display it would actually make. And of course, yes, Goonies, which, as I've just said, sort of combines everything into one. 5 brilliant finalists. I tip my hat to each of the designers. I think they've done a magnificent job, and now they do deserve your support. So make sure to head on over to Lego Ideas, go to the 80s Challenge. I'll pop the link in the description below. Go and vote for your favourite. You've only got until the 3rd of May to do it. Unless, of course, Lego change their minds again and extend it like they did with their actual review period. But assuming that doesn't happen, you've only got until May the 3rd. So get voting, get commenting below, let me know which your favourite is. Let's discuss the pros and cons amongst each other. There's probably things that I've not even noticed yet. So much going on in these 5 designs. So get commenting below. And of course, if you've enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. I do appreciate it, always helps out. For now though, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.